dear students. Today we start new topic, that is Module 8, Space. Open your books on page 97. Let's study the first page of the lesson, and as usual, we study the material that we're going to learn during this module. As for vocabulary, we're going to speak about space, learn the words on space, mysterious events, space colonization, computer-generated imagery, CGI. Of course, we'll revise grammar and practice it, the passive voice, conditionals, types 2 and 3, mixed conditionals, reported speech revision. We'll learn phrasal verbs keep, let, pick. And you'll study how to form the words, forming abstract nouns from verbs and adjectives. You will learn how to write a film review, and as for Culture Corner, we'll study such information on the topic as NASA, reaching for the stars. And here will be a lesson on literature, the day of the Triffids. Let's start with the new words. There are not so many of them. Let's listen to them.
Dwarf planet.
It's a noun and it means карликовая планета.
Expand.
It's a verb. It means расширять.
Particle.
Noun – частица.
Swallow.
A verb – поглощать. Let's repeat the words.
Dwarf planet.
Expand.
Particle. Swallow.
Good. Let's continue our work. And here we need to work on the vocabulary. Amazing facts about space. So we have the words atmosphere, surface, stars, radio, dwarf, particles, waves, solar, telescope. So please look through the text and fill in the gaps. Let's look. You cannot hear sound in space because there are not enough. Did you know? For sound to travel through, however, astronauts can communicate thanks to waves. Okay, let's see. So now let's listen and check.
Space facts. Did you know? You cannot hear sound in space because there are not enough particles for sound waves to travel through. However, astronauts can communicate thanks to radio waves. The footprints of the astronauts will stay on the moon's surface for at least 100 million years. This is because the moon has no atmosphere, so there's no wind or water to wash them away. Stars, like our sun, give light and warmth to planets like ours. As they grow older, they get hotter and expand, pulling the planets nearby towards them and eventually swallowing them completely. This may happen to the Earth, but not for another 5 billion years or so. The dwarf planet Pluto lies in a dark and mysterious place in our solar system and was named by an 11-year-old girl called Venetia Burney in 1930. She had read about Greek and Roman mythology and she thought of calling it Pluto. The red spot on Jupiter is a giant storm with winds reaching 640 kilometers per hour. It's been there since people first looked at Jupiter through telescopes around 400 years ago.
So that was a chance for you to listen and check your guesses in the previous exercise. Now let's, as usual, let's watch video and do some exercise.
Space facts. How much do you know about outer space? Let's take a look at some interesting space facts. There is no sound in space because there are no particles for sound waves to travel through. However, astronauts can communicate thanks to radio waves. The footprints of the astronauts will stay on the Moon's surface for at least 100 million years. This is because the Moon has no atmosphere, so there's no wind or water to wash them away. Stars, like our Sun, give light and warmth to planets like ours. As they grow older, they get hotter and expand, pulling the planets nearby towards them and eventually swallowing them completely. This may happen to Earth, but not for another 5 billion years or so. The dwarf planet Pluto lies in a dark and mysterious place in our solar system and was named by an 11-year-old girl called Venetia Burney in 1930. She had read about Greek and Roman mythology, and she thought of calling it Pluto. The red spot on Jupiter is a giant storm with winds reaching 640 kilometers per hour. It's been there since people first looked at Jupiter through telescopes around 400 years ago. Did you know any of the facts already? What else do you know about space?
Okay, good. Now let's do some exercises as usual. Questions. Space facts. Mark the following statements true or false. Astronauts communicate in space because of the sound waves there. Is it true? Is it false? Astronauts' footprints on the Moon will be there for millions of years. Our Sun gives light and warmth to all the planets in our universe. In about 5 billion years, the Sun may swallow Earth completely. A girl called Venetia Burney gave the dwarf planet Pluto its name. There is a constant giant windstorm on Jupiter. So you need to do this task and to check yourself again watching the video. Okay. So, and the task which is over to you. Which two facts about space impressed you the most? Tell the class, and what else would you like to know about space?
I was impressed that the footprints on the Moon will stay there for at least 100 million years, and that an 11-year-old girl got to name a dwarf planet. I would like to know about dark matter, black holes, and supernovas, as I find these topics very interesting.
So these two questions will be for you to answer, and let's go to another page in our students book, that is page 98. So today we'll start to work at the text "The truth isn't out there, is it?" That is very interesting information. I hope that will be very interesting information about UFO tour. Let's start. Listen and read the headlines. What do you think happened in these incidents? Let's listen.
An alien spacecraft probably crashed on a ranch in the Roswell region, and it was captured by some people.
So, headlines: strange wreckage, alien bodies examined at Roswell Army.
I think some people reported finding a strange wreckage, and they think alien bodies were examined at Roswell Army Base. A police officer reported a sighting of an alien spacecraft in Socorro, New Mexico. Thousands of people witnessed strange lights over Phoenix, Arizona.
To read the text, you need to know some of the words, and we see that there are lots of them. So let's listen and see.
Aircraft.
Army base. Assignment. Autopsy. Billboard. Burst. Cattle farmer. Debris. Doubtful. Eerie. Eyewitness account. Formation. Freeway.
Hangar.
Hieroglyphics.
Hotspot. Lined with. Oval shaped. Rattlesnake. Remains. report on, skeptic,
spot,
unfold, weather balloon, weird.
So, when you have time, please come back to this list of words and again practice the pronunciation and write all these words into your vocabularies. So now read the title of the text and the introduction. What do you expect to read about? Let's look at the introduction. The truth isn't out there, or is it? The annual UFO festival in Roswell, New Mexico attracts thousands of visitors each year to this remote desert town. This year, we sent travel journalist Ross Bradley to take part in a new UFO discovery tour to visit key sites in the area where the famous 1947 Roswell UFO case unfolded. Did her out of this world experience make her a true believer? That is the introduction to the text. What do you think the text is about?
I think the text is about a journalist investigating the case of the UFO crash landing in New Mexico in 1947 and whether or not it may actually have happened.
Okay, that will do for today. So, at the lesson, we learned some new words on the topics, the space. We discussed the objectives of the module, and we have come up just to the text about the UFO. Your task for your home task will be to write new words into your vocabularies and to think about the text we're going to work at the next lesson.